From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Headliners. I'm Elliot Rodriguez. It's something we see day in and day out, gun violence all across the country. In some cases, the victims are children. Those kids not only deal with the physical toll, but the mental trauma as well. CBS News Miami's Chelsea Jones spoke to doctors to find out what those children are facing and how parents can help.
Whether it's a shooting in a school or on the beach, there is a long list of victims under the age of 18 that have been hit by bullets. Pediatric surgeon Dr. Oliver Loud knows it all too well, serving adolescent patients at Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital. He tells me the injuries are never only as they appear on the surface.
The internal blast injury and because of the tumble of the projectile and the bullet, it can cause so much injury on the inside that you may not be able to see on the outside.
The actions Hollywood police say bystanders took to help aid the 9 gunshot victims on Memorial Day is exactly what can buy a child minutes of survival.
And whether that's a tourniquet, whether that's packing, whether that's just holding pressure with your hand, that can save someone's life.
Giving that patient time to get to the hospital. But Dr. Loud says it's not only the physical injury at risk when it comes to children.
The thing we worry about kids mostly is their growth and development, both physically and then psychologically and emotionally.
Generally, children do not form memories before the age of 3. So it may be something that impacts his parents more than it impacts the child.
Dr. Daniel Bober is chief of psychiatry at Memorial Hospital. He says infants and toddlers can't always communicate, so a change in bowel or bladder habits could signal trauma for children in that age group. For older kids,
maybe they won't go to school because they have a stomach ache, or maybe they'll say, I have a headache, or they what we call somaticize their symptoms. They don't talk about them. They may get in fights at school. They might, put holes in the wall.
If it's not addressed, Dr. Bober says the trauma can manifest in adulthood to trust issues and problems with people interaction.
Kids who deal with serious trauma, it can actually cause changes in their immune system via inflammation, and they can develop not only depression and anxiety later on, but even obesity, heart disease, cancer, all from trauma that they have not dealt with.
As for long-term physical damage to a child who has been shot, the impacts are case by case.
There are also certain parts of the body, especially bones, for example, that growth plates that we want children to continue to grow, and if a bullet or a projectile or something damages those growth plates, that can damage a child long term.
According to Dr. Bober, research shows that over 35% of parents who have a seriously injured child, they can develop a stress disorder. His advice for parents is to stay open and calm and also never judgmental. And if you see that your child's daily activities are affected by that trauma, he says seek professional help. In Hollywood, I'm Chelsea Jones, CBS News, Miami.
Florida's so-called toughest in the nation immigration law takes effect July the 1st, and there's concern it could cause a major agriculture and construction labor shortage in the state. According to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Florida already has 53 available workers for every 100 open positions, landing the state in the more severe category of labor shortage. As CBS News Miami's Christian Benavides reports, some effects of the upcoming law are already taking shape.
Pedro Marcos from Guatemala is staking it out as a laborer in Florida, but says he already knows 2 former co-workers who left the state after Governor Ron DeSantis signed a new restrictive immigration law. The truth, I'm not planning to leave. I'm going to stay. I just want politicians to understand us. We do the work nobody else wants to do. The construction work he had in Miami dried up after his employers, he says, got scared.
You can't build a strong economy based on illegality.
The new law requires companies with 25 or more employees use E-Verify when hiring. Those who don't check eligibility face fines and a suspended license to operate. Workers who use a fake ID to get a job could get charged with a felony. The Florida Policy Institute estimates the state's most labor-intensive industries could lose 10% of their workforce, costing the state $12.6 billion in 1 year.
The economy will suffer if they are forced to leave the state.
The law impacts health care too. Hospitals accepting Medicaid will have to check immigrant status. The all-volunteer Caridad Center in Boynton Beach is the largest free clinic in the state, providing health care for immigrants, and even the staff here is worried.
It's hard enough for these people to come in to get care from us. And if there's anything put in their way, they won't come in. And whatever problems they have will get worse.
The law also makes it a felony to transport undocumented immigrants into Florida, which could impact mixed-status married couples or farm workers who travel together. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Boynton Beach, Florida.
Turning now to housing help, we meet a single mother who has nowhere left to turn before potentially being put out on the street. She reached out to CBS News Miami asking for help, and that's where our Joe Gorcho picks up the story.
I live in sheer terror.
Kiara Christian told me she stays up at night, wondering if she can keep a roof over her daughter's head.
It has been by the grace of God that I am still here.
She shows us 4 3-day notices she's received since February. All were posted on her apartment door in Miami Beach, ordering her to pay rent or get out.
And so now I'm in a panic mode of, okay, what do I do when that happens?
Kiara moved to South Florida after losing her job in Texas late in 2021. She made the move so that her 3-year-old daughter, Cookie, could be closer to her dad.
24/7?
Yeah, definitely 24/7.
Since the move, the single mom had trouble finding work while prioritizing Cookie.
My daughter having other needs outside of like a normal 3-year-old, it's even more difficult because we don't have a typical day-to-day.
Kiara reached out for government assistance last November.
We bled through anything that was saved, anything and everything that was saved.
Help never arrived, leaving her unable to pay rent, putting her on the verge of homelessness.
This is about a hand up, not a handout.
Ron Book, chairman of the Miami-Dade County Homeless Trust, has for nearly 30 years helped families and individuals on the verge of homelessness or already on the street.
We've had a clear uptick in calls.
He says people already homeless or close to it have been seeking help. Over the last 3 years, they've seen a 30% increase in first-time homeless people in the county.
We house tonight in our community a little over 8,000 individuals, about the size of Wynwood.
Homeless Trust manages county homeless providers and sets policies that help connect people with financial assistance and potential employers while offering housing space.
We have a whole lot of backstops along the way that we utilize to make sure that they have a bed.
Within 24 hours of meeting Kiara, the Homeless Trust stepped in to begin a path to keep Kiara in her home with her daughter as she prepares to start a new job later this month.
Built this house, as chaotic as it seems, but it's to give her stability and consistency, which is what she needs in order to thrive on her end.
The trust encourages people like Kiara, who is on the verge of homelessness, to reach out so they can help connect them with the proper assistance. Joe Gorcho, CBS News, Miami.
When we come back, see how these hurricane hunters are helping keep South Florida safe and prepared after the break.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back. I'm Elliot Rodriguez. Thanks so much for watching us on our stream. Hurricane season is here. All this week, we've been bringing you stories to help you be ready for whatever might come our way. An invaluable way we can better forecast a hurricane is from data collected by NOAA's hurricane hunters. CBS News Miami meteorologist Dave Warren talked to a crew member who shares what it's like to fly directly into a storm and why it's a crucial part of a forecast that can save lives.
It may look calm now, but when it investigates the next storm, it will be anything but for the plane and the crew inside.
For a moment, especially when you take a big, 2.5 G hit, there's that moment of, oh, we're still good.
Nick Underwood is a program's engineer. Even though there may be some concern, he always feels comfortable with his other crew members.
All these people aboard that are doing their job, making sure that we're flying the aircraft safely and that we're collecting all of the data that we need to.
That data comes from sensors all around and inside the plane. It plays a key role in forecasting the storm.
The better job we can do in the air of collecting all of this radar data, the data from the drop zones and everything else we have on board, the better job we do with that, the better those forecasts are going to be.
WP3D Orion aircraft heavy duty because it's flying through weather like this, wind, clouds, and storms as it approaches the center of the storm here. It's reinforced because it has a number of sensors with it. We're talking about radars. First one is underneath the aircraft, scanning out horizontally here. The second one is back here around behind the aircraft that looks vertically at the storm. And in addition to that, under the wings, there's a sensor which looks at the water surface that gives us the wind speed and the rain amounts right at the surface. So a lot of information to bring back. It'll continue to fly through the storm, the clouds like this, in and around the storm. And as it does so, it drops these sensors down. These are dropsondes that feed back critical information. Now, the Orion is a heavy-duty aircraft because it's flying right through the center of the storm. We have another Gulfstream aircraft, a jet, which flies around the sides of the storm, not through the storm. And all of this information goes back to the big computers there. It leads to valuable data coming from inside the storm, which can lead to more accurate forecasts. I'm meteorologist Dave Warren.
Right now, a critical scenario is unfolding on the island of Cuba nearly a quarter century after Congress passed the Trade Sanctions Reform Act that allowed exports to Cuba. Despite the embargo, food exports have dropped more than 20%. As CBS News Miami's Hank Tester found out, that has Cubans facing their worst economic crisis in decades.
Protests continue throughout Cuba. Yes, there are cries for freedom, but the underlying issue's far more basic. It's food, as a Cuban citizen told author and Cuba expert Dr. Andy Gomez.
You guys in Miami don't understand. This is more about vida, life, and being able to live free, being able to have food.
Cuba's rock-bottom economy and its inability to provide for the island's 11 million residents continues to promote strife. Gomez takes it a step further.
If we were to lift the embargo tomorrow, Cuba is far from being able to implement a wide-open market.
That said, a dire indicator there's not much hope anytime soon for the average Cuban citizen scrambling daily to make it through life. And remember, a hefty portion of food comes from the United States. The headline, Cuban government-controlled food purchases and imported from the U.S. are down 21%.
They're not importing as much overall because they don't have money.
In 2021, U.S. to Cuba commodity exports, such as chicken, $28.5 million worth. By 2022, down to $26 million, and in the 12-month period ending March of 2023, almost $20.5 million. And on the island, cash is tight these days. Tourism sputtering, fuel is scarce, remittances impacted by the U.S. economy. And then
the logistics to get, let's say, chicken from the port of Havana to the middle of Cuba with poor railroad system, with poor trucking system, with poor roads.
Cuba used to be a major producer of coffee. Now they have to import from the U.S.
One, incredible mismanagement. Two, state involvement, which makes it incredibly inefficient. Three, weather. The areas where the plantations are have just gotten pummeled every year.
One bright light, off-island websites where a wider variety of allowed goods can be sent to Cuba, if you have the money or financial support, and that usually comes from remittances from families outside of the island.
In terms of variety of product outside of the agricultural commodities, so the food products, healthcare products, and when saying healthcare products, those are generally personal care products. Those numbers have increased remarkably.
Cuba's never been able to feed itself. It currently imports 60 to 80% of the food it consumes. The internet is one of the few places where Cubans can find commodities such as soap or toilet paper. I'm Hank Tester, CBS News, Miami.
Ahead, meet a high school graduate who won one of the most prestigious awards for seniors in South Florida, many obstacles she has overcome, and how she is giving back, making Miami proud. Don't go away.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back. I'm Elliot Rodriguez. If you recently watched TV, you may have noticed a colorful kombucha commercial, but did you know that company is based right here in South Florida? Radiant Kombucha is owned by a mother who made the wellness drink for fun, and now she's not only being recognized for her work, but also her incredible story behind the drink is amazing. CBS News Miami's Gabriela Arzola went inside the company to learn more.
Inside a humble brewery in Alapata, you'll find full-time mom Susan Aaron making fermented kombucha with her incredibly skilled team. But her story is also a little funky.
You can see it's like growing.
Growing up, most kids would make things like cupcakes and cookies. Her thing was kombucha. Susan spent most of her career as a bartender, juggling school to be a nutritionist while also being a single mom.
So I was working with clients during the day. I was running a homeschool co-op at my house. I was bartending at night.
A reality many moms go through. But despite it all, she always made kombucha for fun. But it got so popular, her restaurant friends wanted to buy it by the case. And that's how Radiate began.
Was there ever a moment where you're just like, I am just in over my head? I mean, this is too much.
Every day. Yeah. Yeah, for sure, every day.
Now she's married with 2 more kids and pumps out thousands of these kombucha cans across South Florida. But her mission is more than just a drink. It's also being sustainable.
We source from small local farms. My husband and our co-founder started a nonprofit called the Watershed Action Lab that's working to restore Biscayne Bay. So everything we do is with this sustainability in our community in mind.
And on Wednesday night, her company got recognition she never thought possible. The domain company called .online opened a contest for female entrepreneurs, and her incredible story on resilience and determination landed her a 30-second commercial during Wednesday's NBA Finals.
Seconds ago, you had no idea we delivered to your door.
Proving that the road to living out your dreams is far from easy, but shows us the journey itself can also be radiant.
It feels really, really, really great.
So to get your hands on this Radiant Kombucha, you can head over to our website at cbsmiami.com. In Alapata, I'm Gabriela Arzola, CBS News, Miami.
And I tried the kombucha. I must say it was pretty good. Finally tonight, a Silver Knight Award is considered among the most prestigious awards to a high school senior in South Florida. CBS Miami's Maribel Rodriguez introduces you to an extraordinary young lady who had to overcome so many obstacles she used to inspire her and to make Miami proud.
As the drums rolled, Ashley Prado and her family made a grand entrance into Ronald Reagan Senior High as a Silver Knight Award winner.
We, once again, for the 3rd time in school history, we have a Silver Knight winner.
Ashley is a graduating senior and one of 30 Miami-Dade and Broward students given the prestigious award from the Miami Herald and El Nuevo Herald.
Ashley's one of those genuine, kind, good-hearted people, just amazing young lady. And, you know, she's always been very appreciative, always thankful, always has a nice word to say to everyone. She deserves this award.
Ashley came to the United States from Venezuela just 2 years ago. She faced many challenges, including confronting a language barrier, adapting to a new culture, and learning in a whole new education system.
And I was petrified. I was so scared about everything, about the whole educational system.
And it was her own experience of feeling lost in a new country that inspired her to create the Immigrant Student Resource Center. Its mission is to help other students who feel the same way she did.
We have here an explanation of the whole American educational system, like the grade level, the type of classes that you can take, etc.
It's something she learned in real time, navigating her new life with help from her teachers, counselors, and classmates.
Professionals are the ones that change the life of the students just by their hard work, their dedication, because their dedication is mind-blowing.
And now this once lost immigrant student has an uplifting message for others.
I will let people know, or to all immigrants or all students, to don't be afraid to speak up. If they have an idea, if they have a project, if they think that there is something that they want to accomplish, they need to go for it.
What an incredible young lady. Right now, anyone is able to access the Immigrant Resource Center. It's available on their website, but her goal is for it to be converted into an app in the near future. For more information on the Immigrant Student Resource Center's website, head over to ours, cbsmiami.com. Maribel Rodriguez, CBS News, Miami.
She is incredible. And thank you so much for joining us this half hour in Headliners. And as always, keep it right here to CBS News Miami for up-to-the-minute breaking news and weather 24 hours a day. Make it a great day.